right, it is that time to get going. We're going to turn on Facebook, get that going on, and we are live on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks, my studio Theater Graphics. How is everyone doing this evening? Let's see, we already got 15 people in here.
We're good on Facebook.
We're good on Facebook. Let me just scroll this up here so I can see what their comments are doing. There we go. Log it in there. See in live chat. All right, let's see. We got Carl in here. We got Armando. How you doing? Nameless subscriber. Who else we got here? We got 15 people here. Okay, so what are we doing today? Let me show you what we're actually doing. This is a piece I did years back. I did a bagger, full dress motorcycle. For those who don't know the term, what we say here, it's a bagger. It was a tattoo style bagger. We didn't actually use this image. I did this for the client as like an example of color tone and value, and this has been kind of displayed in my studio for a while, and I've always wanted to do a how-to on it. So this is what we're basing it on here. I'm going to bring up the reference image here for you. Kelly, why don't you bring up the reference image on that and turn the keyer on. Yeah, so if you look down, that's the sketch I did for this originally, and it was just pencil sketch, and then this one was just all, I just transferred it and freehanded this on here. That's how this was done. There was, nothing but net on that one. But what I want to show you today is how to work from either a paper file or plotted file. So I've done it both ways, and I'm gonna do the plotted one tonight, but I have a printed one already ready to go. So I'm gonna do that kind of at the same time, just to show you how, even if you work with a plotted file, a paper cut file, they're almost the same. Just the paper cut, you got to cut as you go, and they can fall apart, they don't stick. Whereas a plotted one sticks in place, and you can mirror it and reverse it and cut it as many times as you want without hand cutting it. That's the benefit. But the application, how to paint the image on the panel, doesn't change much whether you're using a plotter or print. So that's why I've made this download available already. It's already on McKayFineArt.com, and it comes with all different file types, whether you're using a Cricut, a Cameo, a plotter, whatever, and it's got JPEG images there you can print out and cut and do all that. So that's already on McKayFineArt.com. So if you guys already downloaded it when I posted this morning, so they're already going to try to follow along, or may try to follow along. So that's what we're doing this evening. Let me bring up the panel here. And what we got here. And we'll show you. Alright, so what I have here is a 9x12 panel. This is an aluminum panel that it's got the plastic PVC core, but it's aluminum skin. And what I did for a base color on this panel, this was really just, I mixed up a medium gray, and then I tinted it with some green, and I think I had a little blue. I just got to this kind of olive drab kind of color. And that's similar to what I did when I did this panel here. This was done with a metallic silver, with that same green tone. Almost that like 1970s, like, Plymouth Galaxy green. That's kind of what he wanted, that type of era color. And what I also have here is just a white panel that I kind of stained and grunged and textured. So my plan is, I'm going to try to maybe, I'm going to do this one full, but I'm going to attempt to add this one into it as well. And this one I'll do paper, this one I'll do plot. And these are both the same 9x12 panels. So, let's go back to this here. Okay. Oops, wrong camera. There we go. That's what I want. So if you didn't see that, because I think I had the wrong camera up, you will have, I have this white panel which is gray stained, and then I have the other panel here. Let's take a quick 5-minute and see who we got in the house here. Howdy y'all, Max Thrash, what's going on? Derek, we got Honey. We got William, Jesus, Mike Gillette, Carl Barker, Mr. Leahy, thank you for coming in, sir. Joe Bingham, JJ Custom, Dennis Blaze, Paul, Yogurt Slinger, Armando, good chatting today. Oh, honey, thank you very much. Honey, do me a favor. Email me, give me your email address later, and because the $20 is the actual cost of this download, so for that super chat, I will send you this download because you just paid for it. So you have this download, we can work with you on it, all right? So if anyone else does that, if you want to do a $20 super chat here, anyone who does a $20 super chat, put your email with it or email me later, and I will send you the files, the download files for free because you already paid for them. Or go to MckayFineArt.com and it's right there for download already. So this is going to be a fun piece. Let's talk about colors that I have here. What do we have for colors? Kaylee, why don't you bring up the colors on screen? Yeah, I'm going to take a little sip while we're doing that.
Sorry, there it is. I'm blind. I can't read, apparently.
There we go.
Okay, I can't read numbers.
Kaylee's trying to get on this here. All right, so these are the colors I'm using on this project and different variations of it. I'm using emerald green, black, illustration black, and illustration opaque white. Okay, so those are the only 4 colors I'm using, and I've mixed them in various degrees. Okay, so what I have here, let me switch out to this camera. And we'll put this here so you guys can see. Okay, the main color I'm using, so for those who are going to follow along, is this color. This is kind of like, I call it like a tattoo green, okay, color. So what I've done here is I've mixed 2 parts emerald green, 1 part black candy, okay? So 2 parts emerald green candy, 1 part black candy. If you don't want to use candies, you could also use like illustration moss green, and illustration black and cocktail, similar color. Okay, so that's the main color I'm using. The darker version is that same mixture. With about 10% black added to it. So it's got a green hue to it, so it all ties in with the rest. And then finally, third color is, again, that same mixture, the green and a little bit of the black one mixed into the illustration opaque white. So I put the illustration opaque white, that I tint it with this green and this black green till I get this kind of minty green color, and this is going to be my highlight color as opposed to using pure white, because again, I don't use pure white on these panels. Okay. And those are your only 3 colors we're using. All right. So, let's see. Anyone get that? We're good? All right, Kayla, we're going to bring up that reference image here. Actually, before we do that...
Want the reference image back?
Nope, I'm good. So, what I've done here is this panel's already prepped and ready to go. And I've plotted out the panel. I've plotted out this image with the plotter, okay? It's already plotted out. I want to show you how to do the paper cut one as well, but let's get this one on the board. So, this was done in FBS blue. And we're going to do my standard, I'm going to move this aside. Move this into the center here. I'm going to do my hinge technique, which this is how I like to put mask on. Right here like this. Hey, Michael. So, I do hinge technique. So, I basically put a piece of tape across so I can fold this back. And I got my trusty squeegee. And this has already been cut out of the FBS blue. And you can't really, it's hard to see the cuts, but you can see it here. And I did a little trick so you can see the cuts a little better here. Hello, Michelle. Say hi to Michelle, Kaylee. Say hi.
Michelle. I was going to type it, but...
Ah, I beat her to it. I can see it before she does, so sometimes I get ahead of her. Okay, so I folded that back. I pulled off the backing paper. Now I'm going to take my squeegee. I'm going to work the air out. that. Easy peasy. Oh, what I've also done, but I couldn't edit it today and do all this, because I started this morning at 10 a.m. So that's how long I've been working on this project. I actually recorded how I vectored and did all the cleanup on this, so that's going to be a video download in the near future of how to vectorize your own artwork, and not just, you know, buy mine, which I prefer you buy mine at times, but I also, you know, my hopes, if you're buying my stuff and learning from my stuff, it's going to teach you how to eventually create your own. Okay, that's how I learned from, you know, I bought and learned from Craig Frazier and other artists throughout the industry back in the magazine days, and then I took what I learned there and created my own stuff. That's what I want for all you guys. I'm going to squeegee this on. FBS named a masking film after Honey. Right? And its original name was Le Bleu. It was FBS Le Bleu. It was had that little French name going. Usually I leave some transfer tape hanging off, but I didn't on this one, and I should have, because it's hard to get this one started, but I'll get it. Come on. Excuse me while I get an edge here. It's just being uncooperative today. There we go. Alright, got the transfer tape to fold back. Usually I use the clear transfer tape. This time I just use regular conform. Now what I did before I transfer taped it, I stained it with some, just a watered down black, and used some, you know, reducer, just kind of wiped off the excess. But I wanted to do this so you guys can see all the cuts. As anyone who's taken our Airbrush Rendezvous class, you know, in Rhino, just pretty much use dirt off the floor. Rub it into the piece, it'll fill in the scratches, you'll be good to go. There is the piece, so you can see all the cut files. See all the cut lines already cut, ready to rock and roll, already on there. And the nice thing about using a plot file is I haven't cut the surface. Let's see, we got some people on Facebook. Shane Quick, I'm working with some Harley blue mask right now myself, just to match the Harley flames. Cool. Awesome, awesome. Mike Benner, how's it going, buddy? Bet you're in the thick of it. Okay, now option 2 is this is already mastered, ready to go. Now I want to show you, if you follow with paper, this is the paper image. So this is the paper image, and what you would do is we're going to work in the same order. And we're going to take out, I work, because I want a light colored surface, and I want to work up the image. Yeah, if you look at the reference image on the left, on the right side of the drawing, you see what's darker is further in the background, and then it works its way forward. So I always work from background to foreground on a light surface. Okay, that's how you want to work it. That's the best way to do it. So what you would do is basically identify what's in the back surface, and you pick that out first, and you cut it, which is what I've done here. Okay. So I'm just going to tape this on the board, and I'm going to use this as an example, and then I'll pick and weed the other one, and we'll paint them. I'm going to try to paint them both. I'm not going to finish both of them. That's a pipe dream. But so I want to do so you can see what I'm going to do here is the same stuff I'm going to pick out here. Okay.
Apparently Mike is having a problem. They can only get to $19.99, but it's not letting them do $20 for some reason.
Oh, that's weird. Well, do $19.99. I can eat the penny. That's fine. So, or you can just buy it from the store itself. You don't have to super chat here, but I don't know the rules on super chat. But feel free to just buy it on the store at the same price, or do it here for $19.99, and I'll hook you up the same. It's a penny. So, basically, if you look over here, what I've already picked out, this is what I'm going to pick out here. Okay, same pieces. Thank you, Mike Gillette. Anyone who's doing that, make sure you email me later. I'm going to try to go back through these and view them later. But make sure I get your email, and I'll make sure I send you a free download link for this file. Okay, so now this is the nice thing. So cutting this out takes some time, and it's not as perfect, obviously. And if you're on a car and you're doing things twice, well, hand cutting it takes way longer. And if you're cutting it directly on the car with tape, you'd be cutting into the car itself. So, you know, either way the job gets done. There is, you know, like to say there's no right or wrong way. There isn't. There's preferred ways for certain results. So I'm going to pick out all these same things. This is all the furthest in the background. So like, see this one here? I have it here, but I didn't cut this file all the way over. So I'm going to have to manually do it. Can you bring my X-Acto knife? Let's get a fresh blade in there. If I have any. I do. Almost lost an airbrush. Almost had a piper down. Dirty hands also, yep. So I have this one here. I'm just going to cut this manually right here. I'm going to pick this one out. I'm just using a little pick tool here, which is just a little spike. You can use an X-Acto knife. You can use the orange plastic razor blades I'm famous for using. Any of that stuff works just fine. I'm going to turn that reference image off for a second here, just so you can see what I'm picking. Like I said, I'm going to match these two up, and maybe I'll paint them both at the same time, or at least get both started so you can see. So I'm picking out in here. Now, honestly, this is part of the skull under here, but I can pick it now as long as I kind of keep that in mind. You know, the back of the skull head would be here. And what I didn't cut out here, but I might as well do it, is I'm going to pull the eyes. Well, I'm going to save them. I'm just going to stick them up here in case I need them for later. Okay. I'm going to stick that up there. And then I'll cut them out of here as well. So, you know, basically I'm showing you both techniques in one. So you're getting two for the price of one, people. And if I can get both paintings done, yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna, you know, hand cut these so you can see it's basically the same technique. Plotter did this. I'm doing this by hand. Plotting is not cheating. Plotting is working efficiently. As long as you do it as the same technique as you do it by hand. That's the key I like to tell people. It's working smarter. Mike Learn used to have a great DVD series called Working Smarter, Not Harder. And it's true. You know, especially if you're working on motorcycles and you're doing things twice, why am I going to have to hand cut it twice? When it's my design, it's not cheating, plotting my own design. Anyone who tells you that's an idiot. Or let's be nice, they're just not educated. Maybe that's a nicer way to say idiot. Cool. So if you were doing this on a car and you transfer this image to the car and you just sheet taped it, you do the same process. Okay? Same process working either way. Okay? So plot, paper. No difference. Like I said, this is available on the store for download. It comes with the nice high-res JPEG images and a cut file image that actually shows all the red line cuts. So, you know, please don't just screenshot it and download it and, you know, copy it for the hell of it. You know, support me, I support you. And keeps this whole shindig going. All right, so everyone get that? Anyone got any questions? We'll make this kind of almost live. You know, the nice thing about using a plotter too, if I'm using doing a motorcycle tank, look, that one's going left, that one's going right. So it's just a flip, even though I did this one by hand. But that's the other thing. I did this one by hand, and then I took this and created a file for it, so it's almost like a piece of flash art I can use later on. So it can make me money later. Okay, first things first. Let's give this background area some much needed texture. And what's the best way for texture? Oh, we got Fisheye Filter in the house. Thank you, Fisheye Filter, for popping in. Fisheye Filter is one of our lovely sponsors who takes care of us. There we go. Look at that. Gerald Mendez, new logo and everything else. Thanks for popping in, man. So, best way to do texture, in my mind, is little Gerald Mendez texture effects. Or, that's these guys here. I'm going to use him in the skull. I'm going to use one of mine. I promise I'm going to do a video on this of how I do the hot glue stencils so you guys can make your own, because these make so much fun. And I want to give this background this cool texture. See that? Give it that nice swirl. Did I put paint in here?
What?
I did.
Is it clogged?
I think the nozzle is clogged. Yep. There we go. Now, of course, what did I do? I had paint on my hands. My little vent hole got clogged. Gerald might be here at some point. He usually pops in a little later. So cool. Gonna give that texture in there. See, it gives it a cool swirl. Yep, I'm gonna do the same thing here. We'll go side by side. And you can see how one's on a white panel, one's on a dark. And you can see using the same color gets you two different looks. I gotta be careful down here because this image doesn't go all the way to the bottom. All right, let's bring up that reference image again, Kaylee. Thanks, Ken, for all the support. Again, this was that first color I made, which was that tattoo green. I affectionately call it. I call it tattoo green because, we grew up, 70s, and all my uncles, a lot of Vietnam vets had their awesome military tattoos. And what color were they? They were always this green color. They weren't black anymore. They were green. So I affectionately call this tattoo green. All right, let's register in the eye. Again, when I register in the eye, I'm just shading it. I can go a little heavier on the top, just like I do with the skull stencils. And I'm coming down because I don't want to go too harsh. I want to leave a lot for freehand. Okay, I really don't want to get it too harsh. Okay. I'll do the same thing here. What I'll probably do is I'll do all the same steps here. When it comes to freehand, I'll just freehand this one, and this one I'll finish up at a later time. But you can see this step is all the same. Do that nose. Do that nose. Now here's what's one thing that's faster. Okay. So I already got that piece of the nose done. I got to pick this one out. And now I can just go right to this one and lock it in. Now this one, I got to go back in. I got to bring the cutting board in. And try not to move it too much. I mean, I could cut it directly on the surface, just be careful, and get that same result. Let's see. Do me a favor, keep an eye on the comments, because I'm doing it so fast I can't really pick up much of it. So if I'm missing people, I'm sorry.
There haven't been really any questions.
Yep.
Do you want to ask, does that say the hook background?
The hook background.
I think they mean the waves. Because it's all hooked, the shapes are like kind of hooked over.
I'm not sure. Okay, so we got that, we got that. The nice thing about paper is you can do this, where you can't do a plot. Like I can go, oh, that looks cool, and I can kind of see what it's got. So now what I want to do is I want to delineate that water some more. So I'm going to go around the whole thing. I'm going to mist the whole thing even. That way it's all gets delineated. You could do a lighter green here, but I got my darker green. I'm going to drop shadow with that. So I'm going to work this out. You know, I'm going to hit all these. I'm going to work it out and just kind of shade loose. And then I'm going to go in and put a harsher drop shadow at a distance. But you got to get separation to make sure you have delineation when you pull the mask off. We'll do the same thing over here. Now, if anyone starts bidding, you can put in the comment plot or paper. Okay? So if you put a bid in the plotted one, you'll get this one if you're the winner. If you put plot on the paper, you'll get this one. Even if I don't finish this one, I'll finish it after the fact. And it'll be 2 paintings. Sound cool? Sound fair? We'll give it a shot, see what happens. And if I pull this off, that's 2 paintings in 2 hours. And that would be kind of cool if I could pull that off. I don't think I'm gonna, but I'll get them both done regardless. Okay, so I got that delineation there. I'm gonna make sure I hit all these. Remember, this is key. You want to get this. This is the background, so this can afford to be the darkest. Yeah, I think it's better just on that. How about we'll just leave it there. You know what I'm going to do for you guys? I'm going to see if I can reposition this a little bit. Put it down. This Vision Air system here. Another Vision Air easel.
Nana's here.
Gotta love it. Nana's here. She on Facebook?
Facebook, yeah.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Robin. Thanks for popping in. We're doing 2 paintings at once tonight. Well, trying. I got a feeling one greedy fool will do both. Yeah, I don't think so. It'd be cool, but I don't know about that. Okay, so we got that in here. We got that in here. Before I do the drop shadows, I'm going to pull the rest of these steps off, okay? And create that kind of step tone. So I'm going to go here, because I want to get texture to all those before I drop shadow them. So I'm going to pull one. I want to do texture really light on those. Just a little bit. I'm going to sweep that one. Let's see, it's creating that nice fan pattern. Kind of simulates, that fan pattern kind of simulates like the wind, almost like the tattoo wind bars. Yeah, this whole style has a very tattoo feel to it, at least what I'm going for. I'm going to have to hand cut all those, so that might take a little bit. But once you get everything pulled off, it's you know, really close to done. So I want these to be going in, and then I want this one. So I want this side darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work from this side over on these next ones. So I'm going to go from here back this way. So from under the flower, because I want the steps in like in just a different order. So now I'm going to work from that direction. Light texture, just a little bit of texture. you can see on the flip angle, you can definitely see, you know, the color differences on that. There is no bids yet, sir. No bids on either one. Like I said, you can bid on both independently, each one if you want. They're both going to be bitching. So this one will have a more greenish tone in the background. This will have that more whitish gray. I'm going to just cut that line, which, you know, the plot file didn't cut all the way, just had to continue that there. So what we're going to do is I want this side to be sharper. I'm just going to find a loose curve. Look at that. This is why these curves are so great. I'm going to find a loose stencil. And we're going to just pick it up from there, as opposed to putting the mask down. And voila, created that image just how I wanted it. I gotta turn this because I'm at the bottom of the easel. So that's background. That's all the background. We get the lotus flower here, which is really cool. And now I'm gonna get these guys.
Those are one of my favorite types of flowers.
Yeah, they're fun to paint. Yeah, all these other ones, these are like half cuts, so these just like stop. So these are gonna be pull back, and that's for the water. Oh, there's another hole here that we got to pull out. That's when we get into the skull area. That's right here. I'll cut that one there as well. I've actually had this the sketch I've had ready for weeks. I've been wanting to. I was gonna do this as a straight up record and edit, but I haven't had time to really record and edit a long video with all the sheer bikes we're working on and the weekly feed. So there's only so much we can do. Cool, we got this hole. I'm just working my way back around to make sure everything's covered, and I'll do the same thing here really quick, and you'll get to see it twice. And this will show you the process. So when you see people doing this, you're like, oh man, they're so fast. Well, yeah, I did all the back end work by plotting it. You know, this will take longer than it took to do this side just because. And remember the skull here, it's really just seeing kind of the bottom edge, like the back, so you're just going to kind of see it here. And it's really going to be in darkness, so I'm not too worried about a lot of texture in here, or a lot of detail. Just, you know, you can take a loose shield like this, and we'll just kind of mimic where the bottom is going to be. And it's going to be pretty dark in the background. There's a lot of texture and grit in here. So
we got some bids on the Facebook side.
Oh, cool. So we got bids on Facebook
plot,
sides.
100 on paper.
So we got 200 on the mask. We got 100 on the paper one. So Kaylee can type those into the on the YouTube side. But if you guys want to see the painting like in higher def, click on that YouTube link and come over to the YouTube side. You'll get a much better image over there, much higher image quality. So we're going to step up this, step up that. This paper doesn't go all the way, so when I get to here, I gotta use like a stencil like this, just make it crisper. Alright, now we're going to hand cut these. I just got a message to front of a car. Explain. I gotta sand and re-clear. He says, "Oh wow, you can't just paint the true fire." Yeah, no. Most people don't understand the process, which is why they don't understand the price. So, they assume you just come in and just paint. And a lot of it is because guys are only used to seeing like pinstripers work. I'm going to cut this directly on the surface. And the key when you're cutting directly, so if you're cutting direct.
On paper.
Thank you, sir. The key to cutting on paper or on the surface, so like I've pre-cut a lot of this out already. But you can only cut once because your cut line is going to be in the panel. So if you do it once, you won't notice it. Because it'll be part of the artwork. If you go back and try to cut it again, you're going to get a double cut. So just one sweep and pull. If you got to cut twice, you end up running into a problem. Okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to do that and light texture. So see? Same process. Looks the same. This drawing actually had more vectors, so each one will be a little different. You did not. The nameless bid. Kayla, keep an eye on the bids because I think nameless might have. Someone's saying.
I don't see it.
Okay, just scroll around and.
Oh, it was a $1 bid.
Oh, yeah.
It started $1.
You're gonna start there all you want. I ain't getting sold for that. That I can tell you. So when I get to here, I gotta start cutting the flower out. So I can put, like I said, I could put the cutting mat there, but as long as I'm cutting once, that cut line isn't gonna be a problem, and I'm barely cutting through. And this is the traditional way of doing it. This is how we did it before Plotter. So the result still holds. Right? See that? Two at once. Whose stupid idea was this?
Where does it say that?
What?
Two at once. Whose stupid idea was this?
That's what I'm just saying.
Oh, I thought you were reading something. I was like,
No.
the way your voice was, it sounded like you were reading.
Nope. I'm just saying whose bright idea was this? So yes, that's 200, not 1,200. Gotcha.
Yeah, I got that, yeah.
Yeah. Kaylee figured that one out.
Yeah, Nameless's bid, by the way, was a joke. If you...
Yeah.
The whole thing was, let's start at $1 for once so broke people can get something. I feel.
You're 16, you're supposed to be broke. Okay, so pick you off, pick you. Raise you up a little bit here.
Steve, like, you asked if you can do this exposure box.
Ah, yes, a good old exposure box.
Ah, yes, exposure, the most appealing bargain that can be given to an artist.
Right?
So,
Yeah, it just shows the love and appreciation when you say,
like small businesses, like, I'll pay you an exposure. I'm a content creator. No, I want my money.
it's working along. Raw texture. should be able to pull this one out by itself now. Okay, same. It'll look a little different. That's why it's art and not a print. Because each one's unique. 37 still broke. Yeah, I hear you.
$25 Taco Bell gift card.
What's that?
Carl, I got a $25 Taco Bell gift card.
I like Taco Bell. I don't like it worth this painting, but I do like it. Okay, we got that, we got that, we got that, we got this. Boom, doing good. So let's cut this one out. Here. Good sharp razor blade helps. Now obviously, by hand, these are not as exact as the other side, but that also gives it a cool look. And I'll do probably some more freehand work around here to kind of mask any jagged edges or things like that might become apparent. Where this one will start getting tough to cut is when I have to do a lot of the other water and stuff, but the cool thing is right now I can lift up this one and show you how cool that's looking. Now you can see, so this one looks the same, but you just can't pull the mask off. This is cool, you can pull the mask off. Now what this will achieve, because it's paper, you don't get as sharp an edge, which can sometimes yield to looking more freehand and being more freehand looking because there's no harsh edge and no tape out edge feel. Okay, so that's one of the bonuses, one of the pluses to doing it, freehand and paper mask, is you do get softer edges. Here. Okay, I think I'm the same. I think we're pretty much the same. The only difference is this one, I made the mistake. This lotus flower goes under here, and I didn't do that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it manually. I'm going to take an eraser, because I know that one comes out here. This is how you edit. Look, I'm going to erase this back. Right down to that base color. And re-put this lotus flower, because this flower goes under there, which is what's happening here. And I can tone that in afterwards. See that? Because now it's basically the same thing right here. Okay, right here. So, let's see. So, is that the reason you don't use what? Gannets on the paper? Oh, magnets. I could use magnets, and I just really haven't been. And because this is aluminum and steel, it still gets there. It's actually not a bad idea. Oops. Just to keep things down. But yeah, definitely you can use magnets. I'm pretty sure that's what you are talking about. Who said sick? Who says? I am not getting.
Cole J. Tiedemann.
Yeah, I cannot see the Facebook posts at all.
Really?
They don't scroll. So you have to keep
I
an eye.
can't see when people come in, but I can see when they comment. You
Yeah.
can see when people come in, which I always thought was stupid.
Yeah. Okay. As cool as vinyl mask is, I do like the paper aspect. Yeah, so like I said, there's a pro and a con and a plus and minus to everything. And that was kind of the point of this piece, was to show both. And I wasn't really going to do this. In like 5 minutes, I already had the paper. And because I do paper cut, and this paper cut lines up to this. So when I want to soften these edges, I can with paper instead of reapplying vinyl. Whereas this one, as you cut it and destroy it, you can't really put it back. Whereas vinyl, you can. So again, there's that plus and minus to doing vinyl. I'm going to get this camera a little better. Sorry for the shake. Into position. There we go. Cool. Yes, I figured you meant magnets, so I'm glad we're on the same page. All right. Now, before I do that, this is the foreground. I want to get it dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my darker color, which is that black mix. And I'm going to drop shadow everything. With this black, okay? It's gonna be a little harder. I'm gonna switch angles. You can see a little bit better here. Just those harsh ones. I don't need to delineate the whole thing because this is the drop shadow. The other green is what I use to delineate. So watch these guys. I'm going to hit these. So watch right here. I'm going to hit these and they're going to trail off and down so they actually create a higher lift. See that? I'm not sure if you can see it well. Let's see if we can here. Yeah. So see that shadow? You're really starting to be able to see how it drops away from the panel. That's the key. Oop, don't ruin that one. Gotta get it back out. Maybe we can let some more light in here. Well, that's as much as we're gonna get. Okay. So you're going to drop shadow this. So you're just going to trace around and fall off. Let it fall off freehand. Do a nice soft dagger strokes. And you're just tracing around that image basically. Freehand. Do a nice soft dagger strokes. And that's creating lift. See that one there? It just creates that nice lift. Doesn't have to be harsh. Yeah, no, you can't use spray tack. Not in this. Because you'll wipe off the spray tack and it'll take paint with it. Oh, so make sure, Kayla, you're updating people on Facebook if they've only been on Facebook, that they know where the bids are.
Oh yeah, so the bids are currently at for the mat $200 and for the paper $200.
So we're at 200 and 200 on both sides. Okay. Stop destroying your projects. All that clutter. So I want to get, like I said, I want to get this darkest drop shadow in now, because I don't want to have to go back for it later. Same thing here. Let it come in here. I'll do this one a little faster. This is kind of the speed I work when I'm not teaching, just so if you wonder how I get so much done, this is kind of the speed I normally work at when I'm not teaching. Okay, I'll fog this out. Thanks, Warlock. And I'm just going to fog this green a little bit more.
I wish you could pin multiple comments on YouTube.
Wish you could what?
Can you pin multiple comments on YouTube?
I don't think you can pin multiple. Yeah, well, either way, the bids are 200. So we got 200 on the paper, 200 on that. Doesn't matter where it is. Highest bid gets it. Okay. I'm going to fog this out with green. And run a little low. So I've done, just so you know, this is the Takumi with the little small cup. This is the small cup. I've done both of this paintings with one fill of this cup so far. It's impressive how little paint it actually uses to do a project like this. No, you never spray adhesive on canvas. Like, you know, sometimes I put spray adhesive on like lace, you know, and you put it on and you get it done. It works much better with solvent because you can use like a wax and grease remover to get rid of the glue, and it won't take the paint off. You can't do it water-based as easy. Plus, the other thing is you get a hard time. Sometimes you just start removing artwork if there's too much glue residue left behind because it'll kind of fill in. So let's fog this whole area and see what we got. You guys can see.
You got 225 on the paper.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep any bid increments, you know, 20 and over. I don't want to be doing $1, $1, 50 cent. We're not doing that. So now you can see the tone. Now remember, under here, this looks the same way because they did them both at the same time. Same process. So I actually like doing it this way because it kind of shows you what you can't see under this. And it's key. Sometimes when you're on this blue mask, and this is why I also like the green mask because it's transparent, you can see through. It can have a tendency to go too dark because you can't see what's underneath it. So, you know, the more you paint, the better you get at doing it. So, let's keep that in mind. Okay, so I got to work my way to the next levels. A lot of these are folds. So, I'm going to start with the water. And this is where it gets a little tricky because you got to figure out which water is under what. So I'm going to go with this top one here. And this is really just pick and shade because we do a lot of freehand at the end and erasing. And we're just kind of getting a sketch. So I'm painting on the stencil right there. Okay, see that? I'm painting on the stencil itself. And then I'm going to pick that one. And I'm just painting on the stencil again. Over here, same thing. I'm going to cut. I'm going to fold back like that and do the same stroke. See that? And then I'm going to do the same thing again. Fold back. And just hit. Because that's going to leave it set up for freehanding later. And now I'm going to work my way to the next one. Because I'm keeping an eye on which one is under which. So I'm going to do this whole side. I'm going to work my way down. See, now I get all that nice water separation. Then I can shade and do some erasing and some highlighting, and my water's done. Okay, here to here. And you paint on the stencil so you don't overdo and oversaturate the other. I think Facebook's not seeing the blue one as much, so I'll move the camera a little bit and try that. Yeah, that's better. All right, now I'm going to put here. And now I'm going to come around here. I know that's under. This is the key. Always figuring out what's under, what's over is basically going to help you so you don't have to keep remasking everything and picking things off. Remember, guys, you guys want to do this project, you can download these files from kfineart.com and do this project yourself. It also helps supports me in these projects by downloading this and sharing it and doing all that fun stuff. It all helps. And so just working my way around. Now I'm going to work into here. Pull this. And I'm almost ready to pull this whole thing. See how I'm working my way out? It's an efficient way to paint. See, just work my way down that whole piece. And that's good right now, and I can kind of shade the skull. And I can shade in here. And I can leave this now, because I can come back into this later. You know, if I want, I can start putting some freehand waves into it, really loose, and kind of finding a curve. And I'll get my pot graphics out at the end and be able to really tighten up a lot of this stuff and smooth some of these out and extend them. 60% commission? No, Kayla does not get 60% commission.
No, I get $20, which is good.
She gets $10 an hour to be in here.
Which is almost minimum wage, and like full minimum wage in Mass.
And she gets the learning experience of all this stuff.
It's good too because I enjoy this stuff.
So let's go here. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go right through these. We're going to go here. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut them first. Watch this. So I'm cutting each one. Because they're fold backs, they don't fall out. I can go in and I can cut these. And I can fold as I go. Okay. Can I be your assistant? I already got one. And I can tell her to do other stuff, like take out the trash and do the dishes, all that fun stuff. See, now I'm just folding these back as I go. Oops. I fold this one. I'm going to work my way around. Now, I can't put these back easy because they're folded and they're kind of done, but I can't put these back either. So I can recut it and stick it and they'll be perfect each time. Cutting, minimum wage in Boston is what, 12 now?
Like $12.75, which is like, I think it's absurdly high.
12 or $12.75 is minimum wage, which even my daughter thinks is high for someone like her.
I mean, granted, it's really expensive to live in Massachusetts, so it makes sense, but...
Yeah, New Hampshire's still one of the cheapest. New Hampshire's like
$7.
$7.45, I think, still in New Hampshire. But that's the minimum wage. But you go to McDonald's in New Hampshire right now, they're paying $17 to $20 an hour. I know Mike Benner, he's way up in Maine, and he was telling me some of the places are paying upwards to $25. I think Walmart up here was $25 for night shift.
Well, night shift is terrifying.
Yeah.
In any store, honestly.
So see, now I can take this, and now I'm going to cut back.
It's 15 in New York.
Yep. New York's more expensive than Boston to live.
Well, that's very true.
And I'm going to pull that. Same process. Do the same thing.
GA is Georgia, right?
GA is Georgia. Yep.
Georgia's $7.25.
Yep. So now I can pull that up and see that. We're already getting that separation. Back to the side. Where are my... Aha! Fucking graphics. Never leave home without it. So let's pull out, the best one for this is going to be Pyro and the Flourish, the Filigree Flourish. Because we'll have some curves in here. So like if I want to tighten up some of these, I can come in now with Pocket Graphics and just hit those, or I can do them later. You know, I can extend those out without having to replot, and I can, you know, basically recreate the fly and change it as I go. Okay, that's the benefit of using these. But let's work around. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to work from top down so I don't get confused. I'm going to pull him back. I'm just going to shade you. Now we'll do this guy. He's already cut. I cut that earlier. I'm going to fold him. And then let's see, what do I got here? Okay, so this is where you get kind of tight. So if I pull this one all the way off, I'm going to mess with this one. So I'm going to leave this one for now. I'm just going to fold that back. And watch. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring him out. Just for now. I'm just going to tone that. And you let that dry. Realistically, from here, I'd probably just work the skull over and leave this for last, which is probably what I'm going to do as I'm going to pull this off. Pull this back. This is all part of the water, so it's not going to have a streak in it. I want the streak in the background. I want the water to be smooth.
Well, so I also mixed color then, because it looks mixed, like blue now with black or something.
Yeah. So this is my tattoo green, as I call it. So it is 2 parts emerald green candy, 1 part black candy. What is your project for the rendezvous? Don't know yet. We haven't fully worked that out. Me and Rhino will start planning over the next few weeks. We figure out what we're going to do there. It'll be badass, regardless. Whoop, that's falling now because there's nothing to tape it. So this is where paper starts to become trickier. So what I'm going to do is, where is my gold tape? Kayla, is my gold tape over with you?
It was last week. I don't know if it still is.
Oh, I got it. See how that's fallen? I'm going to tape to the side for now. So I'm going to just tape over here. So that'll keep it from falling. And we'll back it up with some magnets. Okay, so that one can fold back. Here. And here. Like I said, this one is the main one I'm going to finish. This one will be finished off camera, so they're both going to look badass. Whichever tone you like better. If you like the green background or the grayish textured background, they'll be the same painting, so you can bid on either way you want to go. Okay, so I'm at the point now where I can't pull any more of this side because this is part of the water which overlaps the skull. Okay, it's going over. So now I need to work from this side over. Now work from this side over, but I also got to work from lower. The lotus flower is beneath the skull. So I want to get the lotus flower done first. So lotus flower is tricky because there's a lot of petals. It's like when I do the rose file. So if you go to my store, we have the rose file. The roses are the same way. You have some that underlap and go under each other. So you got to be, a little strategic which ones you pull first. And you just kind of look to see which petals under which. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the reference image. Yeah, I bring up the reference image.
It died, so you have to do it.
What died? Press what?
disconnected.
No, that's just my screensaver. My Stream Deck, which has all the buttons.
Screensaver.
Why
Red
wouldn't?
skull and crossbones. That almost always means something.
Why wouldn't I make my screensaver a red skull and crossbones?
Or at least tell me.
Why?
This entire time I.
Are you new here?
This entire time I thought
Are you new
that
here?
it was not connected.
Are you new
to
here?
your computer?
Is she new here? What other screensaver would I possibly do?
Steven asked what the temperature is up here. In this room.
Rooms we're nice and warm. Third floor of the house.
Outside.
I don't know. We had a kind of a warm day today.
Surprisingly, it's right now 37, which is pretty warm.
37 degrees, man. It's warm. That was melting snow today.
It was raining.
Okay.
It was actually raining earlier.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a petal. I'm going to use Pocket Graphics here. I'm going to use the Pyro to make the center of the flower. Just that center plume. Then I'm going to go around and just shade it. And I can do, this is a good time if I want to do little bits of shading, and little bits of detail. I can do that. We can come back with a lot of erasing and do some really cool things to it. And then, let's see if we can tag team and go back here at the same time. So everyone knows both these paintings are already sold. As far as the reserves have been met, both are over 200, so they will go. They will both be finished. This one will be finished tonight. This one might have to be finished after. But either one will go, so bid accordingly. And remember, when you do bid on these, make sure you put whether you want the paper one or the plotted one. Okay, plotted, paper. And if those who don't want to bid on it, totally cool. But if you want to paint this project and support us, leave a super chat for $20 or more, and you'll get the file. Or just go on to McKayFineArt.com, and you can get the files right there.
The link is pinned on YouTube. It is not pinned on Facebook, but if you go to the YouTube, you can find the link.
And that's where you'll find it. It's a tattoo style skull and water. For those who didn't miss it earlier, you probably just didn't want to call me out on it. I spelled style wrong. I had STLYE. I did style. Yeah, slide. So I corrected it here now, and I corrected it there. But on the website, it's still not right. But McKayFineArt.com is where all my project downloads are, and all my files that you can work with are. You know, the floral one here, you can use, this is cool because you can actually put lines in it. You can almost give it a little bit of floral if you wanted to, but I'm not, because lotus flowers don't have that. But again, it's more about, at this stage for me, it's more about shading and getting the mask off. And then I can freehand as much as possible. And guys on YouTube and Facebook, don't forget to share this, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Help me out. Grow this channel. The bigger this channel grows, the more stuff I can pull off, the more stuff I can do. Okay, so time-wise, I'm getting a little nervous because it's 9, and I gotta see. I may have to start cutting back on how much I do on this one. Like I said, whoever's bid on it, this is still yours. Whoever's highest at the end, I will finish it. But I want to make sure this one is done. Let's see here. We're gonna work our way around, but we're getting towards the fully unmasked period. Now I'm working on this petal here, so I go here, here, here. Have a drink if you're nervous. Good idea. Cheers. Then work this one, work this one. So basically, like I said, I'm just looking for whatever's underneath. And working those first. The cool thing is I can always paper cut and go back into the plotted one and tighten things up. Kaylee, Gary wants to know what the bids are at.
Bids are still at $225 and $200.
Oh, yeah, so $225 on the paper side, $200 on the plotter side. The plotter side will be the definite finish tonight, and I'll just go until it's done. I don't give a crap if I go over 2 hours. And then this one I'll finish up after. But either way, I'll have all the mask off. This one just might not have all the final details. So notice what I'm doing, how I'm working, basically background to foreground. That's the key. This is what we teach in our classes. Yeah, so classes, just to go over that, and Kaylee can put up the info. So,
which one?
So first thing coming up, we got the Airbrush Rendezvous. The Airbrush Rendezvous is coming up in May. I don't know the dates on the top of my head. Kaylee can...
Did that go up? There we go.
So May 12th through the 15th, that's the one in Anaheim, California. So that's airbrushrendeezvous.com. You can go check that out.
Someone know what the drink was?
Oh, it is... This is bourbon. This is Maker's Mark. Nothing super crazy tonight, just a nice, easy Maker's Mark. And I'm just working my way around that flower. Each petal. See? Same process, same process. The other event we got coming up after the rendezvous is the Airbrush Art Circus, which was originally supposed to be the beginning of February, and due to COVID issues and everything else happening, we had to postpone it, unfortunately. And we're really sorry about anyone who had to deal with that. That is going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that is going to be in June. Kaylee's going to put up those dates in just a sec.
Art Circus is number 20?
Yep.
That one updated?
Yep. So, Airbrush Art Circus, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, June 10th through the 14th, right before my birthday.
Oh yeah, 4 days.
Yeah, I think I'm going to actually miss Laconia Bike Week for that. Which, Laconia Bike Week, we care less anymore about about that event. But, yeah. Okay, so this one here, this petal's going to be a little tricky to do in paper. It's got a little fold in it. Kayla can pull that down.
You want the rough image?
Yeah, pull the reference image up. So this one's got a little curl in the flower. And then it hooks back here. So let's make sure we get all that delineation. Now I'm pulling that little center piece, hitting it again, and then pulling the whole piece. You can see it's got that nice little, it looks like it's curled in. And then you drop shadow it by panning on the stencil of the other one. Same thing here. Fold that back.
Someone from Argentina's here.
Thank you, man. I didn't notice where you were at. I would love to visit there at some point. But now it's over when I travel a lot more. Once it's easier to travel. And I love to come teach in some of those spots. And just teach in some different areas of the world would be outstanding. I want to work my way around to this one. Get in there. We'll pick it in here. This is going to be pretty dark under here, so I'm not too worried about a lot of details. Let's just get it registered in. This is going to get a little tricky when I start pulling this one on the paper side. So I got to cut here. And I'm going to pull this one. And there's a bunch of little, like, you know, little things that come out of here that are like petals. So if you look at the image here, which was done in pink and not doing that here, all these bright little, these are going to freehand in here. Okay. So it's birthday in 4 days.
I think I misunderstood. It's 4 days after the art circus.
4 days after the art circus.
Carl said details.
Details!
You need like a details counter every time someone says it.
That'd be funny.
You hit a certain number and you get a prize.
Okay, so I got you. I'm gonna try and get over here and do the same thing. Not for a while. I started doing with t-shirts. That's where I cut my chops as an airbrush artist, as they say. I haven't done t-shirts in a while. When I used to do the Big E Fair a couple years ago. I love doing t-shirts, man. It's fun. I'm thinking about doing a t-shirt video eventually as well.
You did this sweatshirt for me. That was the last time I think I remember you doing something.
Yeah, I did a sweatshirt for you. That's when I was at the fairs.
Did you go to any fairs after that? That was 5th grade.
I forget the last year we did the fair. One of the years I couldn't go because I was teaching somewhere else, so I couldn't do the fair. And then my friend who owns the cart, who hits his booth, he stopped doing that fair.
I've never been to the Big E, but I've been to the fairgrounds a ton.
Oh yeah,
I've never actually been to the fair.
Yeah, where Kaylee rides is where I used to do the fairs. But she never went to the fair. She just was there at the horses. All right, so what I'm doing there now, I pulled that center cone. I pulled that. I'll do that here. There'll be a lot of freehand in this side. So we're just going to shade it. I don't want to overly do these flowers because I want to do a lot more freehand as I go through. But now that's off. And I can just... freehand right in here and separate that out. There's going to be a lot of little I wish I knew what they were called inside, the little things coming out of the flower.
Oh,
like cilia or...
I know what they're called, but I can't think of it.
So right now I'm just shading, just getting that separation, delineation of the flower. And Caleb can pull that reference image down because I can't see.
Oh, I don't have it. Hold on.
Blank image. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is probably the first time anyone's done a dual painting live feed of 2 paintings at the same time as a how-to. Call me crazy. That might be, could be a YouTube first. I'm not sure. Maybe. Who knows? Stamen?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are called stamen. Like John Stamos?
They're also called carpels. And it depends on if it's a male or female flower.
That's the paper. That's not me.
Oh, Warlock said it. I didn't even notice.
What'd he say?
You just knew it. Warlock knew what it was.
Nice, Warlock! Someone knows their flower anatomy.
We learned about them last year in bio.
Ah.
But it's been a year, so. And you just don't forget that stuff, but. Oh, pistils if it's female, stamen if it's male.
Okay.
Michael Stanton knew that.
Thank you, Michael. Flowers off on this side. So the paper side, you know, is a little more jaggedy than this side. This side is a little smoother. Not as tight, but they'll both have their strengths when they're done. Last petal. So in an hour and 20 minutes, we've done 2 backgrounds, 2 flowers, 2 near skulls. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Can I get a hell yeah? Cool. So here. Okay, now. So we did background, went 1 step up to the flower on both sides. Now we get to go to the skull, okay? Because I'm working up the chain. Let's see what this side looks like. Make sure, okay, you can see everything here. You make sure this is toned in well. And then before I start pulling that water off, I'm gonna go back to my dark green, yeah, which is the same tattoo green mixed with some black, and I'm just gonna kind of drop shadow and darken some of this stuff out. It's gonna be harder to do it later. I'm gonna push that in the background a little bit more. Okay, same thing here.
I'll say again, the current bids for the mass plot one is $200, and the current bid for the paper is $225.
So we're $225 on the paper side, which is interesting, and the plotted side is $200. Okay, I'm going to leave the teeth to the very end. I want the teeth to be the brightest. So now we got the skulls. I've already done here. Let me bring up my reference image.
You want me to do it?
Yep, bring up the reference image again because I got to look to see. Do me a favor. Come over and grab me the actual paper one, which fell. Because I can't see. Oh yeah, there's the cut. So those who are following along, Night Blue, thank you.
Thank you, Blue. Bye.
There's a cut right here. There's a line. We're gonna pick and pull that back, and we're just gonna go back to my green. Just gonna shade that in. I'm gonna work my way around. I'm gonna work under here. Just gonna pull that. So that here, just kind of pulled it and I left it hanging. And before I pull that, I'm gonna pull like the side of the head, the temple, the cheekbone, this area. I'm going to pull this, so we're going to shade that in there. Okay, super simple, light shade. Just for registration, because we're going to freehand most of that as well. And then I'm going to pull off the rest of this skull. So when I plot skulls, I do very minimal. I want as much freehand as possible. I really just do it for teeth placement, structure and shape. So it's all there, and then this can all be freehand. Okay? So I'm going to get on this side and do the same thing quick. Now I've already cut the water. So that's already cut out. So that's going to speed this part up. I did plan a little. Okay, so that's cut out. Kelly can take that reference image down. There. Now do that. Gotta get this water coming up here. Fold this back. And the teeth I'm gonna have to save and put in after. The teeth will be more freehand here than there, but you'll see what I'm gonna do. That same fold. And now, so with teeth are fun because they kind of overlap each other. So again, I'm working from background to foreground. So I'm going to pull the back teeth first, and I can't really do it here. So I'm just going to pull this whole thing off and watch what I do here. If you follow by hand, feel free to put this on a cutting table. You don't have to do it directly on the mat like I am. It's just what I'm doing. This one's going to be really tricky by hand. The one in that water. Okay. So I'm just going to save these teeth. Okay, because I'm going to have to work those in slowly. And now I can actually take this whole skull off. Ta-da. Look, we're the same, left and right. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so on the plotted side, when I start the teeth, I go from the teeth up, and I'm doing the cavity, like the cylindrical slots of where the teeth would kind of go into. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. So I'm just going to shade up off each tooth to the left side of it or right side of it to create that kind of socket. And then once I get to this stage off, I'm going to just work on this one, and this one will finish off camera. Because this one's going to get finished tonight. He said banana tacos. No, he said buenas noches.
Banana nachos, not banana tacos.
So shadow there. So we're gonna do, this is a good time to put a little Jar Mendez details into the skull to give it some cool texture. A little goes a long way, right? Same thing here. Okay, so let's take the teeth. Teeth, you look for what's behind, so I work from back to front. So I'm gonna make sure we shade all these up, and we're gonna highlight this later and stuff, but freehand. I don't want it all done with a mask. I'm gonna pull a tooth, paint the one next to it, let the overspray cast. Okay. Take the next one. Same thing. See that separation? Nice and easy, because you're panning the one next to it, the overspray is casting. And that's creating the delineation from tooth to tooth. And I did them last so they stay brightest, because teeth are, when you're alive, are always the brightest thing because they're enamel. And when you die, they actually go bone color. But you know, when we're doing these, we tend to make the teeth whiter, and it just really pops them more. It gives a light to the skull. So now what I did, because I'm coming around the front to the middle, I got to go to this side of the skull, because those teeth are on the back side, they're the further back. And then you work to the center. Now I'm over here, then I go back to this side. I go back to this side. And voila, we got the T structure where the water is, and that's all done. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on, just like this. I'm going to come up these the same, and then you can hand cut each teeth the same way. I'm not going to really be able to do that, but I can still get that separation where the teeth are. And I can freehand the rest in after the fact. So, you know, that's the plus and minus. That's the benefit and trade-off to doing each one. So now this one, it's almost all there. It's all faded. I'm going to come here, shade that out. Shade that out. And then we're definitely getting that cool texture. Over here, we're going to do the fold backs, and we'll work both and go with the details. So I can get this one off now. And see, I can shade right here all the way. I can't do that here because it's going to fall apart. So before I do this, I'm going to do all my little half cuts here, like I did on this side, so I can do the fold backs. So people still comment on Facebook at all, or I don't see much going on. Put these back. Okay, so those are done. So same thing I did this side. I'm going to fold back and spray. I got to make sure I get all my delineation. So if I was, not super rushed, but I would finish all the detail here before I pull this all off. But I want to get this off so everyone can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to tone that out. Make sure I get nice shadow on everything. And now I can pull back each one because there'll be enough delineation. See that? You can see the separation. That's what I'm looking for, that nice separation of tone. So I can pull that back and paint. And pull this back and paint. Let's see. Oh, eyes are getting blurry. My eyes are getting blurry?
No, Joe thought when Jesus says buenas noches.
Oh.
He said banana nachos.
Yes. Okay. I saw that comment. Okay. So I keep working it. Working that back. I gotta fold this one out. This one's a little tricky. I go here. Once you do this project, you'll start to really kind of understand what we're doing. All these little fold backs and pulls. So I can just pull that off. Just shade each one and take your time. And I'm just folding it back and let it hang. And the nice thing you guys is doing it after the fact. You can pause it, slow it down, look at what I'm pulling. And it all will make sense, I promise. I pulled that one a little too early. It's alright, because I'm going to put it back. This one's a little funky. Let's put that back in here. Don't pull as hard as I did. Just get that established. There we go. Cool. And get that nice little water separation there. Just gonna keep working. I'm gonna just work this whole one till it's off. Pull that. And see, I just keep working around. All that structure's there. But this thing, the nice thing with this side, has been not one razor blade cut on this entire panel. So the paint structure is, perfectly sound. There's been no cuts, nothing to like disturb the file. Disturb the substrate of the material. Right here. Just keep working it off. Remember, painting all the stencil is key. I'm just about to be able to pull this whole mask off. Yeah. Pull around. I'm going to be able to pull down here. This is a little tricky down here. I'm going to do that. lost panel, but I didn't. Ta-da! And the one last piece of mask come off, which isn't on the other side, it's just here. It's this panel right here. So this is just going to get freehand, a little erasing, some highlighting, but that's it. All the mask structure is off. Here, we're going to do the same thing. Jesus, have a good night, sir. Thank you for popping in. And I'm going to start folding back and doing all this. I'm getting tired too. I'm just going to work each one back the same way. So because this is paper one, so this is going to take some more cleanup, a little more freehand afterwards. The water's going to look a little different, so they're going to be cool. And for all you guys waiting on some panels, there's quite a few of you. I'm going to be clearing a whole batch of stuff this coming week and getting stuff ready to go out. Hopefully end of next week everything should be out and shipped to all you guys. So I'll keep you all up to date on that, where that stands. Cool. And voila. For all this little stuff here, I'm just going to use pocket graphics, so it's much easier to just go in and instead of folding that paper back and just separate that water the same way and match it. I'm going to tone this one this way. And we got that same flow from left to right. Okay? No more mask on either side. Have a go, man. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go side by side, start doing some detail here. I'm going to see which ones. I'm going to put more focus on this one because this was the goal tonight. This is kind of a stretch. But we'll see. We'll see. Depends on how those bids come in. Bids keep coming in. See how far we can take it tonight. And if Kaylee has to go to bed, she's got to go to bed.
Yeah, I have a bunch of tests tomorrow.
So, regardless, Kaylee will be done tonight at 10. I may go a little longer. If that's cool with everyone. We still got 50-something people in here, so that's cool. Alright, skull detail time. This is all what the freehanding is. So let's do this. I'm going to put the reference image back up.
Can we do it?
And I'm going to focus on just the skull on this side. So you won't see what's going on here unless I switch out. But I want you to really just kind of take a look here what we're doing. Alright, so now I'm going to freehand. I'm going to soften this up. I'm going to start with the nose. I'm going to come up. I'm going to add these cracks. This is where I'm going to make sure my brush is working really good. This is sometimes a good time because I've been painting for a while. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this paint. I'm going to give this a quick flush with a little water and ice with alcohol, just to make sure we get any like dry, if there's any needle, tip dry, anything gummy. We're a little warm up here. So I'm just going to make sure we're all fresh. Get all these final details up. Nice and clean. Make sure my vent hole's clear. And now I'm going to really go in for the detail. Sorry for all the noise, just trying to get into position. That's it. I'm doing all the same color here. We'll bring in some erasing and things like that and go from there. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can do this. This side can stay gray. No. Yeah. That. We can stay white on that side. And kind of have two different views like that and see what happens. Okay. So I'm coming to here. Nah, I don't like that. I really like to get this side. Sorry for the camera motion. All right, freehand time. So from the eyes, I come up and I kind of scowl those eyebrows a bit. I come right off where I've already detailed. And by doing that, I start to lose that stencil line, okay? By curling that eyebrow out. You know what, I think this top-down camera is better than the 3/4. So let's take the reference image off.
Okay.
We'll edit all this out in post later. And so get those really scowling eyebrows, get some detail in here in the eyes. Yeah, it's just more dynamic because it's brighter. I love the green tone of this. When I start doing this, is going to be more receptive to painted highlights. This is going to be more receptive to not highlighting or doing erasing. So we'll work both. See, because the plot's there, it makes these eyes so much easier to just get in there, get all that detail in. Coarse shadow. Start texturing the skull. Do some little pick marks and stuff, and just all shading. This is where understanding skull anatomy really comes into play. Really shadow back here a lot more. You can see how fast that already starts to come together and push back. Add some cracks in the bone. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Come down here, the teeth come down. See, just all comes together really fast. Separate out these two. That's cool. Like I said, a lot of this water is going to be, I'm going to come in and freehand this stuff. Let's go over here and do the same thing with the skull. The bids are still frozen where we're at, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. No, Apple Watch. It is not time to stand. It is time to work. Tell me when to stand. I'm just coming up. I'm gonna make that eyebrow a little bit more furled. Yeah, got that word. I would just cut. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just cut that, and I'm just gonna freehand each tooth up like this. We'll make that all happen really quick. Oof, it is almost 10. So Kaylee's gonna go 10. I'll go a little longer, and then wherever the bids are, those bids will stand. That'll be the winner. Each one, and I'll finish. I'll do all the finals off camera. Or I'll record them. I'll put them up, but I won't do them live because I want the people who get how-tos to really see how to finish these and you know, not rush through it. So we'll probably add that in another video. So who are the current bids, Kaylee? Put them up.
For paper, no, plot, it's Kelly Ross with 200.
So Kelly Ross is 200 for plot, still?
Yeah, Facebook. And paper is, I don't know if it's Michael or Michelle Benner.
Mike Benner.
Michael Benner, 225.
Okay, he was on Facebook too, correct?
Yes, they're both on
Okay.
Facebook.
Calling it a night. Have a good one, Joe. Thank you for popping in. Is Kelly still here?
No clue.
Kelly, you still on?
I can't view.
Just curious. If you look at the wave on the paper. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like they line up right here. And they continue through.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
See, so if someone buys them both, you can frame them side by side.
There's a little space in between.
And they'll have the gap. That'll be cool. Just saying. Yeah, the lighting on the green one's really tough to get. I'm gonna move to this one. Because I can put this dark black in here now. And really kind of get all the last minute.
Kelly is here. On both now.
Oh, Kelly, you're on both. Cool, brother. You're still the high bidder, buddy. Kelly was plotted or paper?
Plotted.
Kelly Nice plotted Mike Benner's paper. Okay. Mike, you still here? Still at the shop working, I bet? Gonna have a second go at the Tribal Skull this weekend. Great, I'm glad you learned a lot. So we're going to shade this stuff, get it mostly done, and then I'm going to record all the final details, because it is getting to that time. Like I said, I'm going to go a little later, but I want to just show a lot of the shadings so people can see what this is going to look like, and then the recipients will get the finals, and I'll record this stuff off camera, and I'll put that on part 2 of this how-to. It won't be a live, but it'll be just a wrap-up for anyone who's going to follow along and do the project on their own. I don't really want to rush them through these last detail steps just to finish it quickly. I want to do some erasing and kind of show that, what that's going to look like on both. But if anyone's thinking of entertaining any more bids, I'm not going to take any more bids after tonight. So like I said, if you finish off camera, so if you want more.
Once I leave, I recommend not bidding on Facebook.
Yeah, no, I think what we're going to do is we're going to kill the Facebook feed at 10.
Okay.
And then we'll come over here. I don't think Mike's still on. Mike, you still on? And anyone else who isn't...
Mike has not responded at all. So.
He's probably busy at the shop. So, let's do a little bit of racing technique here. This is where it gets fun. Like I've done in many videos, just to get more texture and grit. See that in here? Looks really awesome, because now it's bringing that green from the panel all the way back to the foreground and really making it nice. This worked out great for the Cad Bane painting. Thank you, sir. Yeah, that is getting a good texture. Just really getting that out, soften it up. Oh, Mike's still here, buddy.
Oh, cool.
So you're still the high bidder on this puppy over here. But Facebook will probably cut it off at about 2 hours, so that's why I'm getting prepared for that. So, Mike, if you got YouTube on your phone, or just click that link and come over to the YouTube side, and you'll get the better image quality anyway. So yeah, start doing that texture. I'm going to soften this up. Thanks, sir. We'll soften those shadows up right here. But you can see the bulk of this lesson is really getting... Where can you get that? What, the stick eraser? Oh, the electric? Any place... this you can get at Coast Airbrush. Anywhere that sells Iwata. These are the Medea ones. Love these things. These are amazing. You know, the major components of this lesson are really there, and this all the finish up time, which I'm going to definitely record more.
Carl asked if the water eraser is better than the Helix.
It's better than the Helix, yes. The Sakura erasers are a little more powerful, but not by much. So the Iwata has been the best overall because A, it has two size. It has a smaller eraser tip as well. You got this size and the smaller one. And this is battery power rechargeable, so you just USB charge it. You're not blowing through batteries, and this thing has been outstanding. So better than the Helix. As good as Sakura, maybe the Sakura might be a little bit more powerful on the motor, but that's about it. Does definitely the same job. But I love the battery powered, and dude, I haven't charged this in like 3 months. It holds its charge really well. A lot of battery life. And so this thing's awesome. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna shadow that out. Keep going. And just we're toning those skulls. The septum up the middle. The teeth there. And we're going to do a whole lot more here. And then we're going to come in at the end. This is with that light color.
Oh, do you want me
and this is where we'll use the bright white, which really isn't white, that gray green. And that's where we'll do the final toning and some final texturing in here. You see how that wakes it up? This is going to have a really cool look when it's done over this one, for that reason that it's going to have so much tone going, whereas this color is going to show up as well on this side. So that's kind of the benefit to the darker color. It gets that almost transparent look. Just keep bringing out that skull. Haha, that's cool, man. Yeah, she loves to try to be up here when I'm doing these feeds, but she can get loud, like chomping on bones and stuff.
Or just her feet, just walking around.
Oh yeah, she's just tick, 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 tick. Let's get this skull worked out. Yeah, see, now he's really pulling to the foreground. We're going to highlight under them eyes, the nose. See how it's just really coming forward?
Oh, Michael's heading home.
Who?
Mike.
Oh, you're heading home? Cool, man. Get home to mama. Take a break. Go eat your drink. Yeah, so see, to get this really radius look, I gotta darken this down a lot more. So this has to be pushed back a little bit, then brought back up. But see, because I worked in the midtones, how fast it's already coming up. So that's why I'm gonna work this one a little bit more till it's done. And I'm gonna have to work this one off camera. This is gonna take a little bit more work. So this one, high bidders Mike. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave this one at, this is still 200. Right, Kaylee? There's been no other bids on the paper one?
No, there was. London.
Oh, is London on the paper?
Yeah.
Well, plot. I thought
no, that was plot. Sorry.
London's on the plot. So this is still 2.
I have it flipped wrong.
Okay.
So
I'm going to freeze the bid on this. It's after 10 because I'm not going to work on it anymore. I really want to pop this one out. And I'm going to move this one to the side for now. And I'll record more off camera. I want to bring him in. And then show you how this really starts to come together as I start highlighting it. Just reflect the water. I can come up here. I'm going to hit the waterways with nice dagger strokes and little flood strokes. And it just instantly comes together. See what that did? Easy. And it just really starts to come together. Oh, yeah. Who was 220? Oh, was Mike Benner 225 on paper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're both the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That I was confused. Tough keeping track of two. So this is that white. This is the opaque white where I tinted with the color we were using the whole time. And see, that's the color. It looks like a gray-green, like kind of gray color. But if I use pure white, it'd be way too strong. But I'm going to do these nice flood strokes here. And really start bringing this one to life. We will finish this puppy tonight, aside from minor details. There's no really shortcut in this. This is either freehand stroke or you have to go through with stencils, reverse, and get things a little brighter. I want to get that like freehand painter look. So this is where you start really getting things together. So I can like brighten this one up. I can use this shield here, and I can hit that piece and brighten that one up. I can come into here and just brighten that up. I'm gonna shade this one and get more lift. And see how fast that's turning from kind of a drab painting, flat, to just having all that good detail with a couple strokes. But if you're following along here, what you can do is soft shade, and then you can cut back in and re-drop shadow this using a stencil as well. It's really coming along cool. Brightening that water up using the shield. See how those just popped up? See that little? So watch, just 1, 2, 2. It just popped that up and gave it an awesome fan feel. Now here, I'm going to do little dots and hit the top of these lotus flowers in that center. And then come down little dagger strokes. And then I'll do those, what are those things called, Warlock? I'm not sure if it's male female plant. Stamen. So the stamen will come out like this. The Stamos. The John Stamos. We'll hit those. Right in the center. Hit these petals.
Gerald's here.
Gerald! What's going on, buddy? So look what we've done. We've done almost 2 paintings. 2 different tones. Same artwork. This was plotter. This was paper cut. Same process. That's what we're working on. We're going to finish up this one tonight. So little dagger strokes. Just start bringing up the petals. A little more. And what this is doing, this is getting rid of all that overly plotted, like hard edge or paper edge if you're doing paper cut. But if you need to, you can cut paper with the plotted side and go back in and kind of soft shade. I really want to freehand a lot of this because this is what really just makes it look, gives it that painted feel. So it gets rid of that stencil, that hard edge. Kaylee, if you need to take off, you can take off.
Okay.
Kaylee's got to call it a night. I'm going to finish this thing up.
Do you want to take the paper with the bids?
Yeah, you can bring the bid paper over here. Thank you, ma'am. Good night, Kaylee.
Yeah, goodbye.
Kaylee has left the building.
Stop Facebook.
Yeah, I'll leave it on. It's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So what I'm doing is I'm setting up this detail, and then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to carve it back down with some of the other tone and finish off this panning. But this is all kind of getting that mid structure and just setting up the final details. But notice this doesn't look very stencily or hard cut anymore. This still needs a lot of work over here, and this color white isn't really going to show up here. Okay, so this needs to get a lot dark for the white or more racing, so that's what's going to take that technique. I want to put an eye in this one. There we go, look at that. Little sinister looking fleshy eye in there. Bringing up that flower a little more. And by using that opaque white mixed with the green, you know, it really cuts these edges out nice and gives those nice little flood strokes at the end of the tips. Just a little dagger, you know, flood dagger strokes really just brings that out. Move this one off to the side. So that one's going to be finished tomorrow. Steve, you're with us on both sides? Alright, what do we got? We got 10:15. Let's give this thing 5 more minutes. Do some details, and all the rest will be finished later. Off camera for those who are going to watch. But really now it's just all those little details and making things a little clearer. So I'm going back with that original green tone. And adding some more little pick details. Some more grit, texture, and toning. Shade this side of the skull a little darker and push it back. Just really tone those out. So with that, we're going to start calling the bids down. So right now, paper side, Mike Benner. London Pen on the plotted side. That's this one here. You're at 225. So it's 225 going once. As I start working my way through these final details, and really toning this out. I want to actually, I'm going to switch to that camera, and we'll go bring the reference image back up as we finish this puppy off. Sound like a plan? We'll move this one over. Yeah, Mike Benner's closed. Thank you, Warlock, for keeping things on track. Let's see if we can zoom in on that above cam. Yeah, that works. There we go. See, I'm just coming in, just little textures, a little shading to get these bones looking a little gnarlier. Add some more dimension. I may actually plot and kind of relay this section and get this to lift up more, but maybe not. It might be enough with freehand. So I still haven't gone with that final black color, which I still have. This is a really cool project. I hope a lot of you guys, if you download this and practice it and follow along, you'll get a lot out of this piece. You know, this is a piece you can spend 2 hours on like this. You can spend the entire day painting it and just really get nuanced and subtle textures and subtle things like that. You know, you can do different color water. You could make this water blue. You could do like I did here. You know, you could make the lotus flower bright colors. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. And it's a project you can pick apart and really work with. So hope you guys download it and mess with it and enjoy it. Links in the description on this feed, as well as Kaylee's pinned it top there. It's $20 download, gets you the vectors files, and the vector files are for every type of program. Even gone through some of the programs recently, and for anyone who has a Cricut, I've done some correcting on some of the downloads to work a little bit better on the Cricut, because Cricut software is weird. It does things that other programs don't do, not in a good way either, in a bad way. So, yeah, I love the color here with the flower. I would love to do it, but it would add so much time to this piece. It couldn't be done tonight. This has got most of the tone I wanted it for now. Okay, so we said the bids are getting closed, so we're at 225 going. We already said going once. 225 going twice. So if Kelly wants to put a last bid in, now would be the time. For anyone else wants to get in, now would be the time. 225 is where it's at. It's really hard to capture the texture here, but it's looking really cool. Love the way this was coming out in person. So Kelly, if you are out, let us know. We will take a final head count. And if there are no further bids, this will go to London Pen at 225. So again, going once, going twice. Third time, we'll give it 10 seconds. And we'll call this thing sold. Got 225. And this will go to Canada. Yes, those are awesome texture templates, man. Unlike anything else. The original, the king. Yep. Texture effects and pocket graphics. That's all you need to finish the painting and make it look awesome. We'll go through and tone this out a little bit more and more. And look, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much the painting. Little details here. I don't think I need to record too much more. Maybe I'll do just a little wrap-up session. And anyone who downloads it, we'll just email them out. Congratulations, sir. This will head your way. We'll clear this with the other batch. Hopefully you can get to Canada. We'll have to wait for this whole trucker blockade to end. I'm sure that's affecting shipping everywhere up there. Yeah, freehand, just keep working up these flower petals. Keep working it. Warlock, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. That helps, especially with Kaylee out. I think I'm going to take a lesson from that and have her start doing that in the post more often. It just keeps it a little easier. Cool. I'm just going to go and tone this more. I'm going to pick this one up here. And these are the two images. This is what we got. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. I'm going to go back in here and do a lot of detail later. We'll get this one done. This is what we did so far. We did plot, we did paper, we did the skulls with the water. And like I said, there's a pro and con. This is definitely faster on this end of it. Once it's done and cleaner, because you get a lot crisper. This takes a little bit more work. But in the end, the same results can be achieved. So you need a plotter, but it helps for certain things. Let's swap these around for the cameras and you can see a little closer what's what. See, we get this nice, really nice rich green tone in here, and that white color is really giving it like almost like a transparency to the skull, which is really cool. And the water's really awake. So, what does everyone think? Everyone like that one? It was kind of a cool piece. I really enjoyed the way this one came out. I think we'll put a nice... I'm trying to think of the pinstripe color we're going to do on this. Maybe like a tan type of color. Or maybe just a really... I'll let London pick. Maybe a bright color. Can you add the walkthrough to your store page as a reference? As far as a finish up one, yeah, I can definitely put that on there. I'll take some nice end shots and close-up shots of each thing for reference for those who download it. Those who already downloaded it, keep an eye out for updates, because what I'll do is I'll upload any updates and it'll pop up in your email that there's an updated download. I'll definitely get that on there. And yeah, I'll get some close-up textures and some things like that, some videos. And I also got a video coming out on how I actually did the vector for this in Adobe Illustrator. So that's coming soon as well. So yeah, so if you go to MackayFineArt.com, link is pinned. That's MACKAY fineart.com. That's where all my download projects for YouTube and everything else are up there. And I hope everyone enjoyed the way this looked. I know I did. And with that, I am going to call it an evening. That was a pretty rapid 2.5 hours of a lot of painting. I want to thank everyone who showed up and checked it out. Keep an eye out for more downloads. If you already downloaded it, cool. I'll get these update files, let you know when that's done within the next few days. And because I'll finish this stuff up tomorrow and get all the photos and stuff taken. And for those who did the super chats, which was Mike, Gillette, and Honey, I'll get your emails and we will get you those files as well. Everyone else, have a good night. Watch on the replay. Don't forget to subscribe and notifications and all that jazz, and share this stuff. Tell all your friends. And have an awesome evening. And I will see you all next week on Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. See ya.